So I take things personally when you get attacked. And I don't know why Bakersfield, I just thought it was funny. You wrote a story about Bakersfield being a hellhole, and the local paper there picked up on it, and they got all mad at you. That one I just thought was kind of funny.
Yeah.
But you fired the first strike in that, right?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
This time we've got Matt Rhule, and what we're referencing here is Adam Hill wrote a column about what Matt Rhule said. The Nebraska football coach said that college sports don't belong in Vegas. He was reacting to a simple question like, hey, how do you like Vegas for the Big Ten Media Days? And I think his intent was, it should be back in Indianapolis or Chicago. And that's what James Franklin said, the Penn State coach. And you know what? They're right. It sucked. There was no media here. There was no vibe. I love the point that someone brought up around Jeremiah Smith's the best player in the country.
Yeah.
But when you're in Vegas, we have so much going on here, and I think it's like a badge of honor for us. We don't care. Like you have to be he's a big celebrity, but in college football. But the point was made by a couple of people in the media. They were like, hey, Jeremiah, what's it like to be out of Big Ten area? And like, you're just walking around the casino. No one knows who you are. But a reason for that is fans weren't coming for this media event. It was kind of a poorly placed event. Now, the truth is LVCVA gave them a bunch of money, and I think it's part of a bigger deal. They're going to have the women's tournament here for basketball. They're going to have the men's tournament for basketball. We're talking Big Ten, right? They're going to be here back-to-back years. So there were a couple of coaches who were like, it's kind of lame. But Rhule seemed to go the extra level without really any qualifiers.
Said, I don't think college sports belongs in Vegas.
Right, and you took that as, like, that's a dig on Vegas. We are very much a change city. I'm not even going to say that we shouldn't have had college sports here 30 years ago. I've lived here for a long time. I think there are wholesome parts of Las Vegas. I think you can get into trouble in any city in the country. My belief is that when you have very few rules, people will kind of weed themselves out, and those who are undisciplined or of low character will be out of town at some point.
Yeah.
But with no rules means there is no end to the night, right? So you have to learn self-control. When there are rules, a lot of times in smaller cities, people are animals. They want to break the rules. They're going to go the extra mile to get whatever they need to get, sex or drugs or alcohol or whatever they want to do. And the worst cities in this country many times are the cities that have football factories. Because, as I've said many times, Penn State proved for about 35 years, football over kids. Football is more important than kids and their welfare. In-state college for a long time. Safety of the community, safety of women at the school and the community. Football in Lincoln, Nebraska, more important than women. Football in Waco. More important than women. I'd worry about those communities, and that was your point in the column about Matt Rhule. Don't make comments about Vegas. Worry about the places that you were reared, you worked. So let's bring this full circle. Pablo Torre, now not with ESPN at all, right?
No.
Okay. So he went on his own. This is another great media success story.
Also, by the way, mainstream now. He hosts on MSNBC.
So he's so good that he basically blew and has also become, in an era where investigative journalism is shrinking because budgets are shrinking, especially in your industry, he's become this great investigative journalist. And he just signed a deal. Now he's going to be working with the New York Times. And it sounds like a big deal, a 7-figure deal. But you know what? During the break, I thought to myself, Pablo Torre should do an investigation on Nebraska and the Lincoln community. Because you know what story I don't think is done yet? Remember the lady Ashley Scoggin who spent a year here playing for Lindy LaRock, the basketball player? Lindy LaRock, the coach, but Ashley Scoggin, the basketball player on the Lady Rebels. Well, she left Nebraska where she was playing because a guy named Chuck Love, an assistant coach, there was something going on there. And she claims that there was undue pressure on her to get into a relationship with the assistant basketball coach. And it got real quiet there, and that thing went all the way up to AD level and president level. I haven't seen a lot of investigative journalism on that one done. Hey, Pablo! Let's go to Matt Rhule City, and let's do an investigation on what's going on there. But here's the point. And this is why football factory cities are really dangerous. Because in a city like Las Vegas, we have real journalists. We have a real newspaper. If you guys don't get access at the RJ, oh well. You'll fight it, but you're still going to do your job. We've seen too many cities around the country, football factory cities, where they're afraid.
Yeah,
They're afraid to do real journalism. And the one of the only other cases where they did real journalism was Dallas, Texas. And they blew up SMU. Which brings us back to that scumbag, Paul Feinbaum, who wanted to go after Rhett Lashley and call SMU the dirtiest football program in the history of college football. No, bro. Journalism. Unearthed in Dallas, one of the dirtier programs. You reside in a conference where very few people do journalism. I think they do a good job in Atlanta. But please don't tell me that SMU, over the course of 30 or 40 years, were bigger violators of rules than the kings of the SEC. And more appropriately, the kings of the Big Eight at the time, or the Southwest Conference, really.
To the point, you said it in there.
Because people were afraid to go after Texas. People were afraid to go after Oklahoma. They went after little SMU because there was an outlier. Like, what the hell's going on at SMU? Oh, now we know. But there's a lot here. So to go back to the beginning of this, guys like Pablo Torre, great job. And sometimes you got to be independent to do these investigations. But don't be fooled over the years about who gets caught and who doesn't. And if we want to go full circle, what happened here is a G-damn shame. Because Tark got royally screwed.
Yeah.
Royally screwed. Why? Because he was an outsider. SMU, outsiders. You can do what you did in Waco, Texas on multiple fronts. Because I didn't even get back to, there's the sexual assault and rape culture in the football program for a long time. The murder of a basketball player.
Yeah.
And again, what went on at Penn State is disgusting.
Yeah. And to the point that you were making, you said it in there, but to highlight it, in some of those communities, State College, Pennsylvania, like Auburn, Alabama, like the local media, if they are shut out of covering those programs, their career is over. Like they have to go somewhere else. They have to start over. They move. Here, that's not really, like a big city is not really the case. Like, okay, you're going to ban me there? I'm going to go here. Like, it's fine. I'll go cover this. And we're backed up, at least the people with legitimate outlets are backed up by management in that regard. Like, it doesn't happen in those small towns. But to go back to Pablo Torre, if you have not watched, I mean, there's so many, I could recommend so many that he's done stuff. But if you just want to know how good he is as a journalist investigatively right now, the role that he's on, watch the one about the basketball micro betting scandal, where he was investigating the exact same thing the FBI was. The FBI, and you can tell where it happened in the story as you follow it, the FBI ran into a roadblock at one point in the investigation. They're like, we can't put these pieces together. Pablo Torre figured it out. He actually went further than the FBI did, figured out some things the FBI couldn't, based on basically some new school investigative stuff in terms of like, oh, wait, this person follows this person, and this person had an account that was deleted, but they followed this person on their old account. Wait a minute, there's a connection here that the FBI never figured out that he did. Like, that's how good he is right now and the role that he's on and the staff that he has around him. And that's why they're getting rewarded like this. And I just I very much respect journalism like that, and I highly recommend people start following it along. And now, obviously he's getting rewarded for it, which is great.
Crazy stuff. Run these 8 minutes in Omaha. Let's go.
I'll go on.
I told you, I know some people who do radio there, so let's get down there.
I'm fairly certain Matt Rhule has read the call. I'm not saying
I would hope he would read it and go, my comments about Vegas were a little out of bounds.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain he's read it. It was run, the Omaha paper ran it, so I'm sure he's probably seen it or heard about it, and I would love to hear his reaction to it.
Yeah.